Thank you to everyone who is attending today and your willingness to participate in these discussions. Many of you may be recalling events of high concern regarding your work in the industry. Emotions may run high, and that's expected, but this discussion is not only to bring to light these experiences, but also to move forward together in envisioning how we'd like the industry to function for ourselves and for those who will enter the industry after us. We hope that you, the panelists, will share your experience as it pertains to race and working in the industry, a reflection on how participating in a system that has iniquities based on race affects yourself and others, and also to make a suggestion for either change in production procedures, changes in personal conduct, and if applicable, what structures are needed to support these changes. But to be clear, the burden of change doesn't rest solely on people of color working in the industry. And people of color, I mean people with heritage that include African American, Latin American, Palestinian, Korean, First Nation, West Indian, and the list could go on. So, to non-people of color, we're also inviting you to reflect on how you haven't handled or how you have handled racial issues on set or in business practices, and to consider creating new plans and policies going forward. So we ask that you please be respectful as we listen in good faith to our friends and colleagues.
There's a thunderstorm out right now. I feel like that's kind of fitting to what's going on. Okay, guys. This video is definitely gonna get a bit deep, a bit real. I would like to preface everything that I'm about to talk about with the fact that summarizing the topics at hand here is absolutely impossible. I tried my best to, compile everything I can together and make it digestible. At the same time, there are just a lot of details and personal stories and things that I unfortunately had to leave out, but I hope that I still did the topics themselves justice. I also want to say that this video is heavily scripted, unlike my other videos, so please just bear with me on the different cuts and stuff. I had to write everything down and make sure that I am getting my points across in a clear manner. I'd also like to say that these topics and points that I'm about to make are not new and have been an issue for many, many, many years for performers of color. And it's unfortunate that it had to take this movement to now shed more light on everything. And I really hope that we can actually create change for once, because as much as these topics have been talked about for years, nothing has really changed or been done. A lot of the things I'm going to be talking about mainly have to do with mainstream adult models, but the trickle down is real, and this also has a lot to do with the camp model industry and the content creator industry as well. My personal struggle as a performer of color when it comes to racism and colorism in the industry has been because I'm not Black enough and I'm not white enough, that I'm pushed into this non-existent subcategory where I do not fulfill the quotas. I can't necessarily be casted in a token spot, not that I would want to, and nor can I be casted in an all-white cast. I see and I understand my privilege being a multiracial performer of color, but I also have to face my own battles with identity and race issues every day, every time I log on, every time I post a video. Constantly getting asked, "What are you?" making me feel like I'm some type of Martian and dehumanizing me in a way. feeling like I can't speak on the feeling of being second best or a safe choice because I know that I do not have it as hard as my darker brothers and sisters. Someone's race should not be the first question asked or the first thing on someone's mind when they go about casting or wanting a performer in this industry. Casting a performer should lie mainly on his or her character and talent before anything else. We need to put a stop to dehumanizing performers of color and normalize us in mainstream and on cam. I know for some of you it may seem easier and more comfortable to view videos and chat with people from your own race, but you need to actively stop and think, why is that so? And realize that your bias is affecting the industry as a whole. Do I agree that white people need to be more educated on race and racial injustices and matters? 100% yes.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
But as this video you just watched shown, that the education is there, and instead you're compliant because it may not affect you, but it affects us. And equality affects everybody, and you should want your fellow humans to be treated just like you, treated equally. Most of these companies that are being oppressive are creating a space that doesn't feel safe for performers of color to speak out, to speak up in situations of mistreatment or even financially, making it a milestone or a taboo to be in a scene with a performer of color and then paying that white counterpart more money, putting performers of color in now this situation where if they felt like they needed to speak up, that they couldn't because now they're not going to be hired or rehired by that company, being labeled as difficult. Therefore, putting themselves in positions physically and financially that they are not okay with just to be able to partake and make money at all in this industry.
So I'm Kira. I've been in commercial porn for about 6 years now, and I feel like it took me a long time to really feel like I was in any way established in the industry, and it was partially because I'm Black. Typically, tokenism is really common in our industry where people will pick one Black girl at a time to let shine, to put in all the panels and the showcases and just let have that spotlight. And I was basically feeling like for years that I was waiting my turn. And I think it's kind of fucked up because now I am in a much better place and I'm feeling guilty because I know that there's probably other girls who are waiting for me to like step out of the token spot so they can have their time. White girls don't have to worry about that. It's whether or not you're a good performer, not whether or not they have enough white girls already. Like, I am sick of being told that, oh, we'll shoot you next month or we'll have you in the spotlight next year because we've already just done our Black scenes for now and we've already filled that quota, even though you sell well. And like I've heard people say that not only to me, but other Black girls who are good performers and can make the company money, but they just don't want to shoot too many Black girls at once. And I also want to start shooting my own stuff a lot more. Obviously, we can't do that right now because of COVID, but whenever it's safe to shoot again, I want to put more focus on putting the power back into the performers' hands and helping people learn how to shoot their own stuff. That way, even if these companies don't want to start changing things in terms of tokenizing their Black performers, we can shoot with each other and we can learn how to shoot really beautiful, awesome stuff that we're proud of with other performers of color or just anybody we want without having to worry about the whole token thing and playing into that.
Feeling like because of tokenism that they are easily replaced and disposable, therefore stripping them of whatever power they might feel like they have. I found myself in the chat yelling for more companies that are minority owned, more makeup artists and hairstylists. Where are they? Only then to realize that they're just being ignored and not being hired. They exist. They're everywhere. There are tons of Black owned, Latina owned, Asian owned companies that are being ignored by the mainstream. There are plenty of Black makeup artists that could be hired to do makeup for white and Black performers that are just being ignored. They are not being recognized by the media, by mainstream, by these big companies, and not being hired. Therefore, we don't know who they are. This is another topic that highlights education, but let's put a bigger emphasis on accountability. And let's stop letting subconscious and even conscious systemic racism affect the growth of this industry. Erasing tokenism and that feeling of having to wait your turn to be in the spotlight. Such acts create more competition and less community and unity behind performers of color. It makes it harder to root for your colored sister or brother and cheer them on when you know that that might take food or money or a spot from you. The industry is playing this non-existent number and statistic game and lying to performers of color, telling them that they won't sell well, telling them that they met their quota, they filmed all of their Black scenes for the year, they don't need you right now. But then they're totally okay with making another video with another blonde, it's ridiculous. Trying to fill this quota instead of making actual good films that people would watch and supporting the performers in the industry. These producers will happily, these agents will happily take on 12 white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes or brown hair and brown eyes and tell a performer of color, oh no, we're at our max. And then if you're lucky, getting hired, but then not being able to brand yourself based on your talents and personality, but then your brand being your race as the focal point. Literally telling performers of color, and this just goes for Black people right now, to act more Black, to act more ghetto, to be more aggressive in scenes. It's disgusting. Pushing these stereotypes, pushing race as a fetish. My skin is not an accessory. It's not a decoration. It's melanin. It's different melanin. We all have it. Some have it more than others. It doesn't make me who I am as a person on the inside. Where are the famous Asian male porn stars? Where are the Latina porn stars that aren't being forced to be maids? Where are the Asian porn stars that aren't being forced to do massage therapists? Oh, you want happy ending? It's disgusting. I know I keep saying that, but that is the only word that I can use. Literally disgusting. Again, stop and think. Just take that second to stop and think of where these stereotypes are coming from in porn. And ask yourself, why are they there? Why? And then realizing that they're wrong, that you're wrong. Not all Asians are massage therapists. Not all Latinas are maids. Not all black guys have giant wieners. That is not real life. We're better than that. There is a huge difference between liking a performer that happens to be a person of color and liking a performer because she is a person of color. My race is not a decoration. It is my culture. My skin should not be your fetish. We, as performers of color, need to unionize. We need to support each other. We need to organize, and we need to create a stronger community. We are all in this together. Mainstream adult performers and cam models that are people of color are all in this together. We are facing the same racial issues and biases. We need to just be there for each other and create a stronger community. Now, hopefully, I really do hope that you are sitting there thinking right now, okay, what are our demands? How do I help? How do I support? And we're gonna go through that list right now. These are just highlights, these are just the beginning, but there is a list and we're gonna go through them. I'm gonna put my glasses on, they're on my computer right here, and I'm gonna read them down for you. I apologize, I needed to change the angle because my prescription is not up to date and I am not seeing my best right now. Okay, let's read these action items. I'm also going to be reading you points from a meeting that was on Monday. I wasn't part of, but I have a list of the talking points. These are things that we want from the businesses, and then the action items are just a list. These are demands so far, and I hope the list grows because we deserve everything. Make a list of agents and contact them with updated industry standards. Form a union and set performer rates that people don't work below industry standard. Addressing the way studios should be marketing their Black performers. Creating opportunities for ourselves to make our own websites, direct our own movies, etc. Address casting Black and trans people in stereotypical roles. Address colorism. Gay porn wants lighter-skinned, racially ambiguous to meet their quota, and straight porn wants darker-skinned people. It shouldn't matter. Also, performers of the year should be more than just straight performers. More representation at award shows. No more mockery of religion, ethnicity, body types, or age. Increasing performer of color, increasing performers of color behind the scenes through an industry-funded career pipeline. Intimacy coordinators on set to either be trained or to be people of color themselves. A complete reform of booking agents and managers. The elimination of derogatory terms in media, including blocking racially charged language in all digital media where performers engage. Diversification of staffing in all companies from the top down, including women, people of color, queer, and trans folks. Paid diversity consultants for every company, including toys, media, webcam, etc. All of it. We believe in eliminating IR and interracial, and instead would like to give performers autonomy on how they would like to be described, including increasing the use of SEO identifiers of hair color, body type, etc. Copies of model releases, which include name of scene for first and notification of changes to titles and subsequent releases. The increase of people of color being hired as writers in production, publicity, journalism, social media management. The increase of people of color visibility at award shows and on stage. Each and every company must give one or more Black performers or directors or both their own well-funded line, period. White people, put your money and resources behind your words. This must be about shifting the power, and for that to happen, the white people in the industry need to give their power and resources to performers and people of color in this industry. Like I said in the beginning of this video, these are not new things. These are discussions and topics that we have been trying to push for 20 plus years now, and nothing has changed. We need change. I don't know who has to hear this right now, and it's unfortunate that I even have to say this, but to my fellow performers of color and people in this industry, including directors and makeup artists and everybody, you're worth it. You are worth every dime. You are talented. You are wanted. You are in demand. We want to see you. We need you. Don't let this disgusting way that the industry is working right now make you feel like you are less than, or deter you from joining or being a part of all of this. I love the adult industry. I love being an adult model, and I hope that I can do it until the day I die and be a part of it until the day that I die. We love you. We need you. We want you, and you're worth it. I'm gonna end this video here because I know it's getting long. I still want to go over some of the Twitter comments that I've recently asked for, some of the discussion points. I just don't feel like they're right to put in this video. Even if they do fit the topic at hand, I just don't want to drag it, and I want to be able to answer your questions in full and dive into your concerns in full. So please subscribe, like this video, share this video. Please share this video. And I will be making not a part 2, but another follow-up to this topic. I hope to make many follow-ups to this topic, and I hope that they become positive follow-ups about this topic. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for speaking up. And stay safe.